We have a lot of choshev guests today, starting with the one and only Mark Ashkenazi, who it turns out like this. I'm just hopping now. Wherever I am, he has to be in another country doing the remote. So I am flying to America, so he needs to be in Israel doing the remote. Something like that. Yishkoyach for all the remotes, jumping into the computer, all these shurim at all different times. Be'ezer Hashem, I am flying, tonight, another English year at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Hebrew, straight to the airport. Then Wednesday in Florida, I have to give a couple shiurim. Then somehow, either Thursday morning, 8 o'clock, I give a shiur. That means I had to prepare the whole night, which is not going to happen. So I'm just going to skip Thursday somehow. Rabbi Yedidi will give, and then I'll make it up on Friday, 4 shiurim. I don't know, we have to figure it out. This is the famous Yitzchak Yehuda. He's a Rebbe in Cheder, the one in the front. They did a day at the beach for the Rabbeim in the Cheder. He's the drummer. He's the drummer and the official drummer. He has actually a drum. He brings like a drum to shir. You'll hear the Hebrew shir. There's always Yochanan Klitnik doing the daf at Eli Geller's wedding. Gewaldig. Hello, Rabbi Eli Stefansky. My name is Shmuel V. I'm a yeshiva Bachar Torres David and Muncie. We are a Bal Tshuva yeshiva. Just want to thank you for your epic shiurim. We got 10 guys at our yeshiva who listen to yeshir daily. Was hoping that we could get a special shout out. Best, Shmuel V. 10 guys, Yishkoyach. From the famous Ilan Davidovich. Learning Torah in the Tetons. Good morning, our boy side from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Ilan Davidovici. Yellowstone actually borders Jackson Hole. One of the entrances is through Jackson Hole. I went skiing there once. Hi from, or snowboarding with my cousin, Dr. Jakey Friedman. Hi from the USA. I was really surprised that no one in Shir, especially the older group like my age, this is from Yisrael Halpern, especially the older group like my age, did not mention this important fact of life that when I was growing up in the 60s, my mother fed me for supper once a week liver steak, which I love to eat with sauteed mamish, delicious and very, very healthy, with sauteed onions and a lot of Heinz ketchup. But the important thing that I remember is how she kashered the liver. Not like you do today, you just buy in the store kasher. She had a totally separate and dedicated broiler pan and great chat pami, because the blood that came out of the liver made the pan treif was, not chat? I don't see, not in a separate, okay, I got it. It was put aside after each use and was known as a treif pan and rack. That is how she kashered the liver each time. Does anyone else remember that?
I don't remember that.
You had liver steak?
I didn't have liver steak, but I remember my
The kashering. Okay, your mother also.
liver steak with mashed potatoes.
Really? Absolutely. What does it do to a person? This was in the 70s. I don't know what you're talking about. I grew up in Bnei Brak, we didn't have antennas. The black, like the lines, and then finally you get them to go. But right by the goal, it starts going out again. That's when I chap. Dear Moiri Verabi, Rebelli, Hartzik Mazak Tov Nagizrin Yisrael Lozi, once again I want to take this opportunity to thank you for the dedication you have towards the shir, just seeing how you give shir in person. I just threw this in because we're going to Florida. How you gave shir in your room, your son's house in Florida. You were there in my son's house in Florida, and that room was shvach. I was like, on the bed. Oh, that's what he was saying, because there was no table. There's no folding table. I put it on the carry-on and the this in a house because they just moved in there. I don't want to express in many hours this year has affected me. You really make us feel part of the MDY family, even though we're just watching on screen. I just finished subbing for the Daf Yomi shir, my shtibel. I ended up bringing my tablet and showing you pictures and some videos. Last week I was sitting in my car watching. I recommend that everybody say a shir once, at least once. Say a Daf Yomi shir. It's geschmack. Ask Noam. Noam, how is it to say Daf Yomi shir?
Easy.
Best days of his life.
It's not the first time he lied in the middle of shir. Shlomo, Shalom Aleichem, Shlomo Lazarian, a very, very good friend of mine who took very, very good care of my son, Akiva Simcha, for how many years? 3 years, maybe? 4.5 years. Don't belittle it. Every week is a 4.5 years. Now he's in
10 years in Cayman.
What? Oh. So my wife was on the phone with Shlomo because they just went out with the chassan and kala. And so I passed by and she says, I'm on the phone with Shlomo. I said, ask him how come he doesn't do the daf. She says, I don't do the daf. I can tell you that he gave Noam Fix a very hard time yesterday, middle of the daf. So I said, Noam, you tell him. Was it a hard time? I said, what happened? I said, Noam, you're spacing out. You're probably thinking about your seminary. So he comes over to me afterwards, after shir. What did you tell me, Noam? Tell him, tell the Olam.
But you were wrong. You were spot on.
Spacing out, because I see from the corner of my eye, I see when he doesn't shake his head. I chop when he's spacing, and I tell him when he's thinking about the girls coming in.
I wasn't doing my role.
That's right. Now you watch him, he'll be. Okay, I'll call part of life, and you see, I wasn't hard on him. It's for Torah. What are you going to do? And also, our boy said David Kreinberg is back in the house. There's Shalom Aleichem. Who else is here? We have some guests. What's your name? From? London. You have a beautiful voice. It's unbelievable. Shalom Aleichem. What? You're also from London?
From Australia.
Oh, that's much cooler. Much cooler. Wow. Shalom Aleichem, guys. Unbelievable. Okay. Who's in the back? I saw a Chassid Shingeman, a Belgium maybe. What's your name? From? Also Australia. Wow. And you're from Australia? You know the Mechitin? Fried? Noah Fried. You know? No? Nothing?
I know the family.
The family. Shalom Aleichem. Okay. Very nice. Shalom Aleichem. Wow. That's geschmack. Guys from Australia. Cool. Yoel, what's his name? Yoel Duek. Duek. Yoel Duek. Who's next to him? He's hiding. Oh, the boy. What's your name? Shulim. Also from Australia? Shalom Aleichem. All right, the official edition of the MDY Shas, the Masechta, Zevin Yael Sholof, Perik Shmini, Sam Wolfpelz and Kende Families LLC, dedicated to the memory of Gershom Ben Menachem, Yezim Ben Tzvi Hersh, V'yitzchak Ben Mendel Aleichem Shalom, Daf Kuf Yud Zayin, Shloimi Klein, L'nishmas G'doshim Mishpachas Goldman, Shenergo Al Kiddush Hashem, Bashoah, Hashem Yinkom Domam. Last Masechta, we were all the way at the end, and we needed somebody to just grab the last few dapim. So Shloimi Klein and Nachman Seltzer jumped in and got the last few dapim. Do we have any dapim left in Chayris? How many? 14 is more than a few. Okay. David Salmon dedicated. Oh, David Salmon. Going to be able to see him, Be'ezer Hashem, tomorrow. Dedicated memory of Avi Meiri, Reb Shmuel Baruch, Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doi, Zuchon Levracha. The plan is to be there for 27 hours. Hakadosh Baruch should help. It should go well and in, out, no issues. The Palachik Family Foundation, may our Limud HaTorah during the Chodesh Elul bring us closer to Yimei Gula V'Simcha. Anonymous. Chatzlach Baruch Nisu B'Gashmias. And thank you to Chief Benny. Anonymous for complete refuah shleima and Aric Zion to Leah Bases. Their monthly sponsors, Chaim and Leah Levi, Lilu Nishmas, Avi Meiri, Reb Yosef Ben Nissen. Anonymous, for my birthday and his schos, Vatzlach and my family, Baruch Ni and B'Gashmi, Shmili and Fegi Koenig, in honor of Chaim Levi, hosting MDY, Vatzlach B'Chola and Yonim. The Tzvi's refuah shleima to Rivka Nomi, Batzlach Sheva Batya, Ari Simon, refuah shleima, Avi Meiri, Baruch Ben Miriam. Weekly sponsors, Spanish year sponsors, refuah shleima to Reb Yehuda, Aryeh Ben Toiba, Warren H. Feldman, in merit of MDY's diligent work. Simon and Diana Rosenfelder for speedy refuah shleima, for Gavriel Ben Toiba injured in an accident, refuah shleima. Anonymous, refuah shleima, Etel Bas Matel. Daily sponsors, Tamir, Fariva. In honor of Shlomo Lazarian's birthday. It's now 13,514 days since he let anyone pay for dinner. Those who know him know, he always goes. If he asks you to go to dinner, you go. You know you're not paying a thing. In the middle of the meal, he gives credit cards, and then there's a double one just in case you try to sneak it out of your pocket before. He has backup plans. This is how you can't get around him. Chaim and Leah Levy. Mazel tov to Chesky and Esti Schlesinger on your daughter Rivki's wedding tonight. Mazel tov. Chesky Schlesinger. I think he was at the shir.
Yes.
He's at the shir. Jamie Azulai.
He's been doing the daf every day.
Really?
First thing in the morning, he's waiting.
Wow.
The unedited, downloads it from the bot. Can't wait.
Wow. Okay, Givaldik. Jamie Azulai, and married my grandmother, Lili Nishmas Esther Baslea Lea Shalom. Follow the sponsor. L'refuah shlema Summer Ephraim Ben Chaya Blima for the month. Rachel and Alex Katz, in honor of their beautiful children, may they grow in Ahavas HaTorah and Yerushalayim. MDY Shidduch Initiative, Freddie Friedman, in support of this groundbreaking initiative, with credit to Mati Butsky for changing the landscape for Shidduchim. Be'ez Hashem, when I get to America, there's going to be good news. There's going to be like a first Shidduch or something, you know? When I'm on the plane, you don't find out. When you land.
You're there for a l'chaim.
In Miami.
You're there for l'chaim in Miami.
I don't know of anybody going out of Miami. I don't know, maybe. Who knows? I don't know the details. Koil sponsors, they, HYK Ventures and Merit for successful year ahead for all our clients. MDY Kids Sponsors Month. Innovations LCS Chus V'Akiva Simcha Ben Vega. Erev Yehudas Bas Yavachai and our kids too. MDY Art. L'refuah shlema Meir. Why did you say amen so loud? L'refuah shlema Meir Shoshana Basar Rivka. L'refuah shlema Mordechai Ben Esther. L'refuah Hayeled Daniel Zev Ben Ayel Esther. Rabbi Sai, here's a question. It's worth, if you didn't learn this sugya, this question is worth 10,000 points at least. If a person, a Jew, shechs a chazer, shechs a pig, how does he make a difference in this pig as he shechted it? Versus if he killed it. A Jew shechs a pig, he can make a difference in the pig. Huh? Anybody? What do you say? What's your name? You're kind of new here. You live in the neighborhood. Arnold, I know you're Arnold. That's right, Arnold. No, anybody have a? Huh? Very good. You listened to the shir yesterday. Beautiful. Reb Reuven, you're back. Ah.
I learned during the class that shir is it.
Unbelievable. I did say before I asked the question not to answer if you learned it before, but that's okay. That part you didn't hear. Okay. You made a chasana? You get a mazel tov? Mazel tov. Okay. He's back. You behaved. He did not. You get extra points. Very good. Says the Gemara, Ksheresh Yonkim and Atreifa. So we had a phenomenal halach in the Mishnah that if a kosher animal nurses from a kosher animal who's treif, or the opposite. In other words, we go by the milk that goes into the animal, not by the animal that nursed. So the milk that went into the animal is treif milk, so it remains treif, the rennet is treif. If a treif animal, in other words, you have a cow, which has a hole in its heart, so it's treif, but it nursed from a kosher animal. The mother animal it nursed from is kosher, then the milk remains kosher. The rennet is kosher. Ask the Gemara, how could that be? Vaktani Reisha, Kevas Nachri, Vishal Nevela. If the animal is in a Nevela, Hareza Asura. So what's the difference if the rennet is in a Nevela or the rennet is treifa? The animal is treif or the animal is Nevela, shouldn't it be the same halacha? They should both be asur. Why is it if the animal is treif, but the milk it drank is kosher, remains kosher? But if the animal is Nevela, and it drank kosher milk, it stays in the vela. So it should stay treif also. Omer Rav Chizda, you're right. The whole thing is the Rabbanan here. Reisha nira ko'ichel nevelas. It's exactly the Rabbanan. It looks like you're eating nevela. You're not eating nevela. Hacha. But when you shecht a treifa animal, okay, so it has a hole in the heart. But it looks good. It looks kosher. Hacha ikesh shchita. So mela the rennet remains kosher. But we have a kavachayim. Like a simple, in other words, it doesn't make sense logically what you're saying. Without the Torah, without anything, nevela is something that people stay away from. Even idol worshippers will not eat nevela. You know, an animal that drops dead in the barn, they don't go ahead and they cut it up and make steak out of it. It's a gross thing. These shars like kivasa, and if you allow using the milk from the rennet, people are not going to say, oh, you're allowed to make milk from it, I'm going to eat it in nevela, because it's disgusting anyways. Nevertheless, you say, I got to make a gzeira here, and you shouldn't be drinking this milk. Treifa, you might come to eat it because at the end of the day you shechted it, everything just has a little problem with the lungs, a little sircha, whatever. Like kolchkin, so certainly you should make it aser. Why is there no gzeira derabanan on the rennet of treifa? Like we mentioned yesterday, the Reb Shua took it back. That what? In the beginning, Reb Shua used to hold that the rennet is considered complete nevela. So when it's complete nevela, so the Mishnah says that if you have nevela rennet, it's completely aser, because that was Reb Shua before he retracted. In the same Mishnah, there's two parts of the Mishnah. One part is before he retracted, the second part is after he retracted. After he retracted, he said a treifa, the rennet of treifa is okay. The problem is, but he retracted. So if he retracted, take out the first part of the Mishnah. Once people already put it into the Mishnayos and it flows, and it's unbelievable, by the way. You know, it's possible to learn Mishnayos Baal Peh like this. And how do I know? My nephews, and there's thousands of kids here in Eretz Yisrael that go to Zichru Cheder. So I have a nephew who's, Zilberman is a little bit more extreme. There's something called Zichru, a little bit. It's taken from the Zichru idea. Zilberman, Zichru, I think they have, back in the day, they had 80 Chedarim here in Eretz Yisrael. They have one in Bet Shemesh, they have in every city, basically. My nephew, my nephew? Yeah, my nephew. My wife's brother's son, Friedman from Ramat Shlomo, so my nephew, you start off any Mishnah in two zdarim, two full zdarim, Kachim and Moed, I think. Any Mishnah he knows Baal Peh. He could tell you the whole thing from beginning to end, the entire Mishnah is two full zdarim. You could start and just go. Say one word, say this Mishnah, Choymer B'cheil, it just goes. So the thing is, if you imagine this kid, you take out the Choymer B'cheilav, you take out whatever the Mishnah says about Nevela, you take those three words, and say, you can't say it from here. It messes everything up. You might not even continue the next one. I don't know what. So they stuck it in there, and they tell people in the Gemara, hey, that's a problem. The first part is, you got to really take it out, but we're going to leave it in because it's part of the song, part of this. I don't know how they remember it. They have like songs, everything has a... Okay. What I'm trying to say is that we could do it in our generation. They did it then. They didn't have anything written down. It was all Baal Peh. So you think, wow, there were geniuses. No, even Bizman Hazeh, you could train a kid. They know Chamisha Chumshe Torah by heart from beginning to end. They know two zdarim, as is before Bar Mitzvah, two zdarim Baal Peh. It happens to be that one of the real big reasons I moved to Eretz Yisrael was this thing. I very much wanted my kids to go to this school. I don't know why I never sent them at the end. It's Shemesh, it's not the same, it's not the real thing. It's too much for your kid. They have to start when they're younger. So imagine your kid knows, my other nephew is married, wherever he goes, anytime they say, okay, lane. He lanes without a single mistake, without looking at it over, just Baal Peh. Zok the Gemara. You're allowed to make cheese. Do we have the video? I don't think we have the video. That was yesterday. Okay. Did I show the video of cheese making? Yeah. Okay. You're allowed to make the cheese inside the innards of the nevela. It's considered separate from the body. It's not considered a nevela. I'm going to see in Nafkamina soon, the leather, the hide of the cave is no good. But the inside, it's like in a bottle, sort of, but it's a nevela, that's fine. But if the animal was shechted by a goy, no good. Now, why is it no good? If a goy shechts an animal, what halach does the animal have? It's a nevela. It's a nevela. Why is it different if an animal drops dead, or if a goy put a bullet through its head and it died? They're both dead animals that are nevela. One you could put the milk, make cheese out of, another one you can't make the cheese. This goes like Rebbe Lezer. We have a problem of avodah zara. Nothing to do with the kashrus of the animal, but it's sort of a kashrus of the animal because of avodah zara. You're stuck in another problem called avodah zara. You're using avodah zara now. Of course, that's the pshat. I don't care about the guy. I'm not concerned about the guy. It's not true. They don't always insert the avodah zara into everything. It's not a problem. Says the Gemara, you're not permitted to use the skin of the keva. If the inside, it's almost like some sort of flask, you put it in, that's okay. But to use the actual skin and put it into the cheese, that's already, it's going to get flavor of treif, and that's also. Then you're allowed to. We're not concerned of the avodah zara. Rashi takes the next two lines out. It's nothing. Okay, says the Mishnah. We're going to be discussing the two things that are usher to eat in the animal, the chaylev, the fats of the animal, of a behemoth. We know that a chayer, you're allowed to eat the fat, but that of a behemoth, of a cow, a sheep, a goat, also to eat. There's certain chumras that a chaylev has that blood doesn't have, and there's certain things that blood has and chaylev doesn't have. What are the chumras? What's mi'ilah? Mi'ilah is when you use something that belongs to the Beis HaMikdash. Belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you used it without permission. So your penalty is you have to bring a carbon that costs like $1,000. Plus you have to pay 25% of whatever you used, whatever your benefit was. Let's say you rode the cow all the way from here to the Beis HaMikdash. You just saved the Uber, costs $100. You have to pay $125. $100 for the Uber plus $25 a chaimish, a fifth, which is a fourth, which is a quarter, 25% on top of that. Boy. So if you had a nice geshmaka, in the 60s, they used to give chaylev steaks with ketchup. I don't know, whatever. People eat the chaylev. If you eat the chaylev and you benefit from it, you have to pay, you did milah. So everybody that was with us since Zvachim, so pigul is like, what's pigul? Pigul is that during one of the four avodas below on the bottom, the four avodas are shchita, kabbalah, halacha, zrika. If he thought about eating the animal, let's say if it's kachim kalam, a shlamim, you're allowed to eat a shlamim for 2 days. So let's say the kohen thought as he was shechting, as he was receiving the blood, or as he was walking with the blood, throwing the blood. He thought in his mind he's going to make a barbecue, like the top left corner. He's going to make a barbecue. And 3 days from now, instead of 2 days, so that's chutz l'zmanoi, outside of the allotted time, and that's pigul. He ruined the animal. Now, if he went ahead and he ate the animal at any time, doesn't have to wait for 3 days. If he ate the animal right away, then he gets kares. So if he ate the fat of the animal, he gets kares. If he ate the blood of the animal, he doesn't get kares. There's a difference between blood and fat. These are just, he doesn't have to think he's going to eat it. He could also think he's going to put it on the mizbech because it's a type of eating. That's the mizbech eating. Or you could think about the zrikas adam. This is chutz l'zmanoi, chutz l'mkoimoi. Chutz l'mkoimoi is what the Torah actually calls pigul, but we don't call it pigul. We call chutz l'zmanoi. Chutz l'mkoimoi means he thinks that instead of eating it in Yerushalayim, he's going to eat it in Bet Shemesh. Okay, it's a lesser isser. You don't get kares for that. V'noisar. If he left over the meat overnight when he was not supposed to, if it's, let's say, chatas, he could only do 1 night, shlomim 2 nights. Here's noisar. So this only applies to chaylev, not to blood. If you left over blood overnight and you ate it, you're not over. You're not even the noise, you're even blood. What do? There's a solution. You burn it. Okay. V'tamei. Tamei is if a person himself, a kohen is tamei, let's say, or whoever, tamei, you eat it. We're talking about adding yisurim here. So not only did you eat the chaylev, which is aser, but you also ate it betumas haguf. Your body was tamei, you get another malchus. You have to bring another chatos. When you drink the blood, you're only over on one of drinking blood. You're not over for tamei. You're not over for pigul and noiser. And what does dam have that chaylev doesn't have? Shadam noig bebehema b'chayav oiv. The blood of a bird is also aser. Bein tmeim, bein tahirim, where the animal is kosher, not kosher. B'chaylev ein noig ela bebehema tahira bilvad. But the fat only applies to the kosher animal. It doesn't apply to a non-kosher animal. It doesn't apply to a chaya like a deer. Says the Gemara, minanimili. How do you know that there's mi'ila, that if you benefit from kachim kalim, the lesser level of kedusha, like a shlamim, a taida, what else? Ma'is b'char, nazir, saita maybe. What else? Okay. Anyway, the list of the lighter ones, kachim kalim. If you take a ride on a kachim kalim animal, you have a shlam, you're about to bring a shlam, a taida. You had a tremendous nest. You came from America, you just landed. What time did you land, Mark? 4 in the morning?
4:05 a.m.
4 or 5 a.m. You're a little tired, or you go?
A little past a little tired.
Why? You don't even go to sleep yet. You stop hacking in China. You're on the plane trying to use it as a okay. This is where you're up and you're on the computer, the whole thing. Okay, you're tired. I believe you. So, let's say you came on, in those days, you traveled, on a boat, you would have to bring a taida, I think. A person was saved from a disease, a jail. Bring a taida. So he decides he's a little tired, he's going to the Beis Hamikdash, he takes a ride on his little sheep. He rides the sheep all the way to the Beis Hamikdash. You chayiv for mila or not chayiv for mila? You're not chayiv for mila. So what's the Gemara asking? How do you know you're chayiv for mila when? There's a certain point that once you makriv, there's parts of this animal, after you shech the animal, there's parts of it go on the mizbech. Those parts become kachim. They leave the designation of kachim kalam, you upgraded it now to kachim. At that point, there's mi'ila. How do you know? We're talking about the chatos of a kohen gadol. When does a kohen gadol bring a chatos? Yom Kippur. The Torah says that this chatos is like a shlamim. So l'chayra, we're going to try to learn things from shlamim to this special chatos carbon that the kohen gadol brings. Kasher yura mishor zevach hashlamim. This chatos on Yom Kippur is like the shlamim. V'chimalo madnu mishor zevach hashlamim mata. And what are you learning from the shlamim exactly? The fact is, you don't learn anything from the shlamim. You learn from the chatos to the shlamim. It's the opposite. Hareze bolen lamed, v'nim tzalamed. A guy thinks he's coming to learn some Torah from the Maggid Shir in Daf Yomi. At the end, it turns out that he actually teaches the Maggid Shir in the Daf Yomi. The Torah says, I'm going to learn the halachas of chatas from the shlamim. No, the opposite. I'm learning shlamim from the chatas. The what? Ma kishor zevach shlamim leparkoy Mashiach. Ma parkoy Mashiach yesh bo mi'ila. Obviously, on Yom Kippur, if you try to use the bull of the kohen gadol, you're over mi'ila. You benefited from kachim. Afshor zevach shlamim. You should know, even though it's kachim kalim, it's lighter. Yesh bo mi'ila. You're over mi'ila. So his limud is from ka'asher yura. Exactly 2 days ago, on Kuftes Vavon Beis, the first words of that Amud, we learned those exact words. It's a very interesting lashon. Ka'ura zu sheshana Rebbe is like a question. Is it disgusting what Rebbe said? Why are you jumping to new limud when Rebbe has his own way of learning Kachim Kalim. It says, Kol Chaylev Lashem. It says by Kachim Kalim, it says all the fats go to Hashem. The rabbis Eimurei Kachim Kalim Lemi'ila. Let me show you again. For all the new guys, look at this. It's beautiful. Look at the Emurim. You see them clear. The fats on the top left, the kidneys top right, and then you have the skirt steak that separates the liver and from the rest of the body. Those are the Emurim that you take from every carbon and you throw it onto the Mizbeach. So Kol Chaylev comes to teach us that once that, right over there, that's Mila. If you use that, even though it came from a Kachim Kalim animal, it becomes Kachi. So why does he jump to Kashiyura when Rebbe has a beautiful pasuk Kol Chaylev? I need it. Omar Abai Yitzchak di Kazav Rachmana Chaylev Avamina Chaylevin Yeriseres V'Shtei Kloyois Loi. Back to this beautiful picture. I would think that the whole pasuk is talking about Chaylev. It says Kol Chaylev, top left corner, but not top right corner. Because Rachmana Kashiyura, it means everything. Okay, so if he's right, Kashiyura, I need the pasuk of Rabbi Yanai, Kashiyuram, so let's just stick with Kashiyuram. What I need Kol Chaylev? Because Rachmana Kashiyuram, Havamina Chaylev Al Yodalesa B'Shar Loi. I'll think that here you have a bull. He doesn't have any fat in his tail. But, so Mamela, what? Since he doesn't have fat, and there's nothing to put on the Mizbeach of the fat, so therefore I would think that the fat of a tail, of let's say of the sheep that has a lot of fat, here, let me show you. What? Oh, you're thinking about, AI got you to thinking about Switzerland. You ready to go? Look at this. This is unbelievable what our artist did. Check this out. There's a lot of fat there. Does anybody have a cheshik to eat it? It's the thing. Here, this is the old one. These guys are, the normal breed has this. They breed them differently today where they don't have that much fat over there. They don't have those long tails anymore. Gishmak. Wow. Kashiyura. Shamata, he says it looks like Benny's over there. Kashiyuram Havamina Chaylev. Al Yodalesa B'Shar Loi. I would think that even the sheep you don't bring onto the Mizbeach. If you can't bring the bull's fat because he doesn't have fat, so maybe you shouldn't bring the sheep's onto the Mizbeach. And you do. That's part of the stuff that goes in the Mizbeach. Cause of Rachmana Kol Chaylev. I need the pasuk to tell me that the sheep's fat goes onto Mizbeach. If now you're considering, why do I have the pasuk Kol Chaylev? To teach me about the fat of a tail. So now if you're telling me that the aliyah is considered Chaylev, Titzer Ba'achila, so how do regular people in Benny's, how do they sell the fat of the tail of a sheep for regular people? Outside of the Beis Hamidrash, how do you eat it? It's Chaylev, it's fat, and fat you're not allowed to eat. I like this lashon, like the Torah is talking to you. Each yid and yid individual, you divrei Torah chadoshim alecha. Kilu hayoim nitnu. Alecha makro, you, the Torah is talking to you. Kol chaylev shor v'chesed v'eiz. Listen, chaylev, it says in the pasuk. Dover hashava b'shor v'chesed v'eiz. The reason why it's not considered chaylev is because you don't have this concept by the, let's go back so these guys get, just look at the picture. You don't have this concept by a bull. If you don't have it by a bull, so you can't say, oh, then the fat in a sheep should be also. If it doesn't apply to a bull and to a goat, so you can't apply to a sheep, and maybe the fat is mutter. But it is something that you bring onto the Mizbeach if you have. Rav Ashi Omar, the reason why the fat of the sheep is okay, because chelbei aliyah, it's not called chaylev, it's called chaylev of the tail. It's different. If it was chaylev, so it's fat is also. But it's tail fat. It's a different word. It's a different meaning. Chaylev stam aliyikri. Says the Gemara, oh, if it's different, no matter yimaluba. So why are you over meila? It's not part of the pasuk of chaylev. The whole thing, you said kol chaylev means the fat of the tail. It's not fat of the tail. It's not fat. It's fat of the tail. It's something else. Hello, you're right. That's a good kasha. So the whole thing didn't make sense what he just said. You can't say, oh, it's different. It's a different type of fat. It's the same fat al machvartik the Rav Zvid. So we're going to the original pshat or Zvid. We're not using this new pshat of it's fat, but it's fat of tail, and mela doesn't fit under the category of fat. It says in the Mishnah Mashenkim b'dam that what blood doesn't have mi'ila, blood doesn't have pigul noise or tamei, all that stuff. B'nani milad we know. Omar ulad omakro. So limudim, three limudim in the same pasuk. It says lachem, to you the blood is not Hakadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak. It's yours private, and you don't get an isser or lechaper, it's for kapar or for who. Let's see. The Torah is telling you specifically the blood is yours. It's not the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash. What do you do with the blood? For a kapara. The kapara says you don't get a mila from you're not over mila. Omar who lifnei kapara kilach kapara. It's as is. A lot of times the Gemara uses such a lashon. Who as is. The what? Before and after. The before is like the after. And the Gemara is going to ask, maybe the after is like the before. Who said which direction? In other words, just like after. What is it? What's after? After means once you're done with the mitzvah, most of the time, and we're going to see in this amazing video, once you're done, there's no more me'ilah. You went ahead and you sprinkled the blood on the mizbeach, so the mitzvah is over. You did what you had to do. Now you want to drink that blood or use the blood or whatever you do. You're not over me'ilah. It's no more the Beis Hamikdash. You finished shaking your lulav, you put it down, that's it, done. So, just like when you're done, there's no milah, so too before you're done, there's no milah. And the Gemara is going to ask the opposite. Maybe just like before you're done, there is milah, so after you're done, there's also milah. How do you know which way you start with? That's the Gemara, maybe the opposite. And this even makes more sense, once you know there's such a concept, okay? Once you're done, who cares if you're done? Well, once there's a mitzvah, like tefillin, you're done with your tefillin. What, you're going to throw it in the garbage can? There's still kedusha on it. Why shouldn't there be mehila on it? Sorry, just like before you're done with the mitzvah, you're over, if you use it, says Gemara, there's no such thing that you do a mitzvah and there's milah. What do you mean there isn't? Trumas hadeshen. What's Trumas hadeshen? That's what I'm telling you. I met a guy last night, a very nice guy. He does custom suits. He wanted to give me a gift. I never met him before. Came to my house, measured the whole thing. Of course, it's a big tzara if you come to my house. I'm like, when was the last time you opened the safe, right? In a nice way.
Not taking your suit unless you do the daf.
No, nice. Look, he was opening to me. He's like, I went to yeshivas and this. My son comes home now. He's doing Gemara. And it's like, it's embarrassing. He's like learning. And like, I gotta start. I'm gonna start today. The whole thing. I was telling him about Trumas Hadeshen. I showed him this video. I showed him the other video. I like just simple things that I think we take for granted. We know what Trumas Hadeshen is. What's Trumas Hadeshen? What is it? Here. This is the first mitzvah that you do in the Beis Hamikdash every morning. Take a shovel, you walk up to the top of the ramp, and you take from the coals, from whatever is there, burning overnight, the akrava, and you put it on the eastern side of the ramp. We're just doing chazar, yeah? We know what it is, but it's not klar. What happens to this? Then it goes into the ground. Now, if you use those coals, I'm helping you understand Taisa's question. If you use those coals, you're over on me'ilah. What coals? There are no coals. Do you see coals? As Taisa's in Yuma, where's the coals? Once you're done with the mitzvah, you put it on the ground, it disappears into the ground. Says Taisa's wild. He says, you have to dig it up. It's not that it dissipates. It doesn't just turn into nothing. It physically goes into the ground. So you open up the ground, you go down a couple of feet. He says, deep down, he says, you take it. Somebody else said a pshat here yesterday, and I saw it in the Rishonim later. Somebody in the shir, Moshe Yedidia Bless, you remember him from this? He said, maybe the pshat is, it goes into the ground, it doesn't happen right away. Maybe it takes 25 seconds. So you grab the coal quickly, okay? The taka is brought down. Yeah? V'samay, it makes u'moylim boy. Maybe Taisus knew that it happened right away, so he couldn't say that.
I assume that's one of the nisim that stacked in the 40 years before the Khurban.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's one of the big nisim. If you saw that, you didn't have a choice. But I'm saying there's probably people that saw that and still were over Avera.
So I'm saying it could be still those times there was no names.
There was no name, so you...
You're saying during those 40 years. I hear. Very nice. Rabbi Arnold says good shot.
That's a good shot.
During those years. Okay? There's Isser Me'ila after you put the coals down and you're done with the mitzvah. Well, let's see if his answer works. Okay, you should put it by the mizbeach. In other words, there's a sima, you put it there and don't ever touch it. There's a geniza, put it there. Says Gemara, there's another thing, a second thing. The Kohen Gadol's clothing, you're not allowed to use. So once the Torah says on these two things, do not use after the mitzvah, meaning other places you could, because what's Shnei Ksuma B'am Kechot? The Svara. If the Torah wanted to tell you that you cannot use anything, you could use, you cannot use anything that you used as a mitzvah, the Torah should have said it once. The fact that the Torah says in two different places, the Torah is saying only in these two different places. Anything else, blood, whatever, you're allowed to use once you're done with the mitzvah. What's the Gemara's question usually now? And what's the Gemara answer usually? There's two miyutim, okay, so the Gemara is going to do that. That there's a Indian by Big Day Kohen Gadol to leave it over there. This word sham, we don't need it so much, but I used it on this guy that made the suit. It said sham, v'nicham sham. The Torah says also, it says, if you accept this Torah, muta, v'imlav, sham te'ek v'uraschem. So they say sham te'ek v'uraschem. If a person says sham, over there, I'm going to start over there when you start a new Masechta, when they start Shas, or what's Sham? Different things that people push off. I'm gonna start my diet in a week from now, after the Chasana, after Yantiv. Sham te'ek v'uraschem. That's where the Kvur is. That's where you get buried. You gotta, if you say yes, mutav. Okay, you hear this? It's unbelievable. You take, in those days, to make clothing, the Gemara says it was worth 12 mon or whatever, which is 500,000, like $150,000 to produce the Kohen Gadol's beged. In nowadays money, they didn't even, and it wasn't as fine as, the fabric that we have today. A fabric like today was millions. $150,000, take it, bury it. You can't use it another time. And they explain, some Sfarim explain different ways, but one of the pshalim that I connected to was that it's to show that your Kabbalahs that you did last year, whatever your Kabbalah, of course, 95% of the time you forget about them and you don't do it, don't let it drag you down. We're starting fresh. Brand new B'gadim, brand new Yom Kippur, we're going all over again. V'nicham Sham, over there, going is it last year, now we're starting new. But this man, means that you, the Kohen Gadol, don't use it, but you don't have to bury it. Another Kohen could use it. So now we only have one pasuk that says this concept of that you're not allowed to use a mitzvah afterwards. We don't have two, because you are allowed to use the big Kohen Gadol, Michael and What's Egla Rufa? But they found a body between two cities, and they don't know which city it belongs to, so they measure, they do medidas, and the one that's closer, they have to bring a calf, and they chop off its head in the Nachaleison, and they say, Yedenu l'shafchus adam hazeh, the whole thing. Now, the calf's head is also bahana, the calf. The whole thing is also bahana, even after the arifa. Okay, yeah, so we had a whole sugya. What daf?
Pay base.
Wait a minute, that one I did. What does it stand for?
Peanut butter.
Oh, I guess I didn't do that one. Which one did I do? Time out. Oh, I'm the Ayins, yeah, Ayins. I'm still in the Ayins. Oh, peanut butter. Anichel Amanda Omar, very good. He's going to be the biggest advocate for Zichru. You have no idea how many people started because of you. Oh, so now I got to show you this video. Baruch Hashem, check this out.
Wake up for Slihot!
I don't have anything to apologize for.
You sure about that? Nothing?
אז תגיד לי אחי, מה ראיתי אתמול? תרומת הדשן ואתה משחק בחול. כבר נעשתה מצוותה, מה אתה נבהל? אחרי המצווה אין מעילה בכלל. אין מעילה? אין מעילה! אז תגיד לי אחי, מה סיפרו לי בקול? אתה עושה סיבוב בבגדים של כהן גדול? כבר נעשתה המצווה, מה אתה נבהל? אחרי המצווה אין מעילה בכלל. אין מעילה? אין מעילה! אז תגיד לי אחי, מה תלוי לך בסלון? ראש של עגלה ערופה מעל המזנון. כבר נעשתה מצוותה, מה אתה נבהל? אחרי המצווה אין מעילה בכלל. אין מעילה? אין מעילה! אז עכשיו הבנתי על מה תבקש סליחה. אני על זה שלא למדת דף יומי.
Otherwise you would have known that all three of those this are indeed Me'ila.
חטאנו לפניך, רחם עלינו.
You saw him sitting in chair. Mendy Auerbach's reactions. He didn't like the Elul part. The Elul part bothered him. No, he thought that the rhythm, I was off. It's you have to, the pause, not on the, No, show us how it's done. That was real, by the way. That Elul I did in the Hebrew shir. 2 nights ago, I came really late this year, like 20 minutes late. So I go, Rav Tov Rabbi sign, and they all jump out of the seats and they go, ah, the whole place. So I made him a cha. We're like this, Elul, but the litzanas and Elul. Oy vey. Okay, let's go right there. So Hanicha, okay, this is the classic. Hanicha, 2 lines from the bottom. This is great according to the Mandama that says that if you have 2 psukim that say the same thing, you can't learn it for the rest of the Torah. But if you could learn it for the rest of the Torah, we should learn that what? Once you do the mitzvah, you're still moyel, so you still should be me'ila on the blood. So Gemara, trei miutik sivi. No, special miutim only in these 2 places. You put the stuff by the mizbeach, the arufa. Okay. Next sugya. Why do I need 3 different psukim? By blood. That if you eat noisar, blood, leftover blood, you're not over on the noisar part. You're over in blood, but not on the noisar. There's no benefiting from blood. You're not over extra avera. That if you ate blood when you were tamei, you're not over on that. Avo mi pigul loitzar kara. The fact that blood doesn't have pigul. That if you thought you ate blood, that you thought that you're going to eat the carbon 3 days from now, 4 days from now, and you ate the blood, you're not over on extra pigul. It's not. Kol sheyesh matirim. Again, this is something that all the zvachim people, menachas people are very familiar with. That matir means the blood that you throw on the mizbeach allows you to eat the meat. It allows you for kapara. So the blood is the one that gives you the heter, but the blood itself never has something that's matirit. By you throwing the blood on the mizbeach, now you're allowed to eat the meat. By you throwing the blood on the mizbeach, now you have a kapara. But what about the blood itself? Nobody's matir him. So if nobody's matir him, then you can't do pigul on it. You can only do pigul and think of pigul on something that has somebody else that's matir it, like meat. All eating of pigul. This nan, kol sheyesh matirin. anything that has something that's materit, bein l'adam, bein l'mizbeach, whether it means that the person could eat the steak or the mizbeach could get the imurim, then if you eat that meat, then you are over on pigel. V'dam gufei, but the blood itself, the blood that you sprinkle makes the meat mutter, but he himself has nothing that's matter him. Matter, he's a matter. And if he's a matter, then you can't do pigel on it. Hadrun aloch kol habasar, hadrun aloch kol habasar, hadrun aloch kol habasar, turning the daf by Encore Healthcare as a schus for Klai Yisrael, this Elul, Shmuel and Over Schuster as a schus for Yimadin, Adar Global, Specialist in International Financial Services, Tzvila Betkin, L'zeichen Nishmas Leo Beryl Ben, Shmuel Chaim. The Israelis really enjoy this, I'll say it over, even though there's a, you could say, Hadron al-Khalabasa, here's the thing of tafasta meruba like tafasta. You want too much, you get very little. You say, Hadron al-Khalabasa, I want all the meat. Yeah, you want all the meat? However, I'll give you a little skin, a little gravy. So, we're talking about Tumah now. Tumah always works, not even the chart today, wow. Mamish, shvach. Tumah works, you have something that's tameh, if it touches something else, it drops down one level. You have a dead rat, it's avatumah. It touches an apple, the apple becomes a rishon, it drops down one level. If that apple touches another apple, the second apple becomes a sheni. So, the first apple that gets touched has to be what size? That of an egg, a kibetza. Now let's say the apple itself is not a kibetza, or let's say a piece of meat. You have a piece of meat, it's not a kibetza. A rat touched a piece of meat, it's 3/4 of a betza. But, take a look at this, beautiful. But together with the skin, that circle is a kibetza. Together with the skin, now it turned into a kibetza. So now I have a piece of meat that gives tumah. Why is skin good to be mitzaref, to join the meat? Because skin is a protector of the meat. So any protector, let's say if you have a walnut, could you eat the outside of the walnut, the shell? Absolutely not. It'll break your teeth. But it protects the walnut. So it's part of the walnut, so it could give tumah. If a rat touches it, it'll give tumah. There's other things, a pulka, a handle, a yad. A yad is a handle. I can't think of anything else. You can think of, I don't know what, something that you hold on, a stem on a fruit. I usually don't do that, but okay, you eat a grape like this. So the stem is also part of the fruit because you're using it to hold the fruit. The bone of the, another thing would be, you have a steak. That's 99% a kibetza, but it's not yet a kibetza. Then you, a schnitzel. Then you put the covering on it, the cornflakes, and now cornflakes by themselves nothing. The tavlin, the paprika, and the spices are nothing by themselves. Who eats a spoonful of garlic? But the garlic on top of the steak, now together you have a kibetza. So these three things is how you add something to the meat or to whatever it becomes. So it says the Mishnah, the hide that we saw in this picture is a shomer, so it's mitzaref to the kibetza. V'aroitev, and the gravy. I gotta say this because maybe you won't understand, but you know my pet peeve, right? So there's a...
Which one?
A waiter is running around in Eretz Yisrael, Meshuggah the waiter. He's taking, you know, they go around and they give, so he goes around with the gravy, a whole spoon, and he sees like jackets lined up on seats. He opens up the jacket, puts a whole thing of gravy into the guy's pocket. He says, what are you doing, Meshuggah? He said, I don't know, my boss said, put 1 spoonful of gravy on every berekes you find. So because we were just, we were in a, the chapping, the joke, reminds me of the chapping. Benny and I, we went to Chasana. We see a guy walking out of Chasana with a 2-liter bottle of Coke, full, closed. He's going home with Coke. Rabbi said he's taking home stuff from the Chasana. I think it's weird. No? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's l'chayr, gezel. And he was a little embarrassed of it, so he didn't like go like this. It was like popping out of his jacket. It's like over here. It's weird. Don't get me started.
That's the other.
No, I'm saying like if you're a parent and your son comes home from a kiddush with a full cake, you should say something to him. Why is it that kids think it's normal to go home with a full cake from a kiddush? Before the adults even show up to the kiddush, they come in beforehand. He's walking the street. I'm serious. A whole cake, like this big, a whole birthday cake, walking home from the kiddush. Where's the seichel? Like parents, tell your kid, fine. Weiter, va'kefa, and the spices. The spices are mitzdaref. V'olol. So see what olol is. Olol could be a few things, like the pieces that fall off the knife, even the bone here. This is like the bone of the gid right over here. Great. We're gonna see in the thing. V'lat samos. But Rashi says it's not talking about the actual bone. It's the bone because the bone protects what? The food inside, the marrow. They say that in Eretz Yisrael, the poskim said that a bone, like a chicken bone, is not muktzah. Why? Because you eat what's inside. Ramosha Paskins, it's muktzah. So he said, but the poskim in Eretz Yisrael said it's not muktzah. They eat the marrow. He says they eat the marrow nevach. Wow. Like I didn't chop like that a matzav that they have to eat the marrow. Who eats marrow? Like I've seen people do it. I thought it's because they like it, but okay. No, my mother-in-law was big into that. She used to say, like I said, Ma, what are you doing? She goes, nobody eats a bone but a dog. Much because like she had a lashon about herself. I don't know. Kids, okay.
That's brought down in Minchas Chinuch.
The what?
That a korban Pesach, the reason you don't break it is because at least on Pesach we should be malachim. We don't break bones like dogs to eat the inside. But otherwise,
Okay. That's almost vagidin. So sinews, this is weird. Like sometimes people eat the sinews together with the meat. So it's part, it's mitzdaref. Vakarnaim. So of course we know that a horn, a shofar, is not part of the meat. So how's it? It's talking about the bottom part that's connected to the animal, and if you cut it, it's going to bleed. That part is mitzdaref. Batlofayim, and the hooves. It's also a shomer to the foot. Mitzdaref in l'tami tumas ochlin. It's mitzdaref to do the tumah. Avaloi tumas nevelas, but not tumah of nevela. For oichel you need a kabetza. For nevela you only need a kazayis. These things are not mitzdaref to the nevela. Okay, here comes an unbelievable chiddush. Just for this was kedai to wait. You should call up your father-in-law, tell him the chiddush right now, because he left. He missed his murder with the chiddush. Kiyoytzeboy. Hashoichet behema tmeya. You know what a behema tmeya is? Not an animal that's tamei. An animal that's tamei. A chazer. Not an animal like a cow that became tamei. Behema tmeya means a chazer. If you Jew, you take a knife and you shech the chazer, so what if you shechted it? For idol worshiper, and it's jumping around. So you have to see Rashi here. I know we're a little late, but it's givaldik. Says Rashi, long Rashi. Says, I'm going to read it to you. These four things. Why? Yisrael sheshachat behema tmeya letzorich v'gechavim, but Jew shechs voidem v'arkesses, and it's still jumping around. V'gav deloy chazel v'gechavim. A guy cannot eat it now. It's still every minute chai. Why? The b'misatalia milsa. A Jew could eat right after shechita, but a guy can't. Since the Jew shechted it and it's a real shechita, listen to this incredible thing. For a Jew could shecht. So let's say if a Jew doesn't shecht the chazer, he takes a gun and shoots it, or slices its neck the wrong way, then this wouldn't work. You believe what's going on here? A shechita on a chazer and a davar acher is a real shechita for one thing, that he just considered it food, because his brain, a Jew's mayach, his machshava made it into food. For tumah, for that moment that the chazer is going like this, then it's been started for tumah at that moment, because it's considered shechita. You hear what's going on here? We take his machshava, and it makes it food. Even by a chazer, for a guy. Let's say the guy did a shechita. No, it doesn't work. Why? Because if the guy doesn't have shechita. And if a Jew did nechira, which is like shooting in the head, you do a shechita on a chazer, and it works. But if a guy did it, he's not a kosher shaychet on a chazer. That's what's going on here. It's crazy. A guy who shechted his own chazer is not a shechita. He doesn't know how to do shechita. A Judah knows how to do shechita and only does shechita. He could consider it food as he's doing the shechita, even though the guy can't eat it because it's not dead yet. But it's still considered food, and that's the Mari Chiddush. For those 13 seconds in between when he shechted and dies, that's considered food at that point. It doesn't work in an aveil. Until the animal dies, becomes an aveil. You knock off its head. There's more things going on when it comes to the tumah of food, whereas the tumah of nevelos. We're going to see this. There's all of these pieces that come out from the knife that you gather. If you get a hal kazayis, you're over Rabbi Sai today at 7 o'clock for English, 8 o'clock for Hebrew. Have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.